one thing we all love to do in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is explore. There are so many details, hidden things, and secrets that users have come across during their playthroughs. During these explorations, many can come across strangers, abandoned towns, and even ancient weaponry and armour. But one such place I discovered both shocked and appalled me. This location, just north of Rhodes, in an area called Southfield Flats, is home to a thriving farm, which we come to know as Robard. There are many like it in the area, but this one has accrued itself a tale, and it's not for the faint of hearted. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and welcome to today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video. More than meets the eye, the Robard Farm killings. On a quick note before we head in, the channel is once again doing a giveaway, so be sure to stick around as I'll be giving details on how you can enter for completely free and have yourself a chance at winning one of 2 Red Dead Redemption 2 t-shirts. From the outside, Robard Farm looks like any other. The area is surrounded by crops and livestock, but as we enter the premises, we notice something is off about the place. Before even entering the farmhouse, you will see what appears to be blood on the porch outside. Not being sure at what unfolded here, I pulled my firearm out at the ready as a precaution. Upon entering, we are met with a scene that would stick with most forever. 2 bodies lay slaughtered, and the place looks like it's been turned upside down. There is blood everywhere, from all over the floor to the kitchen table and even over the walls. A brutal massacre had befallen the pair, but why and by who? This seems more than a random robbery gone wrong. There must be clues. The first thing we can take into account are the victims themselves, 1 male and 1 female. The man lays flat in the centre of the room, whilst the lady is sprawled lifeless across the bed. Upon closer inspection of the 2, you will notice just how much injury they have sustained. Their bodies appear to have been sliced open all over, with broken bones sticking out of the pair. Investigating the room some more, we can see several bottles of beers, bourbons and whiskies scattered all over the place. And with both parties in their nightwear, plus the man only wearing 1 shoe, it seems that after a night of drinking together, the pair were just about getting into bed when the massacre took place. Chairs lay turned over and the kitchenware seems thrown about, plus the bowls and plates have been shattered across the floor. Bloody footprints were also everywhere, indicating signs of a struggle. A large pool of blood surrounds each victim, showing the spot where they met their fate. But then I remembered something: the blood outside. Heading back outside, it seems that the blood on the porch trails off. Following it leads us to the rear of the house, where we discover that the massacre didn't end with the 2 victims inside. Set upon a wagon is a 3rd victim. This unfortunate soul is a 2nd female. She too is covered head to toe in blood, but something is different. A bullet hole through the centre of her forehead would be apparent to how she passed, but what about the items beside the lady? By her left hand is a cattleman revolver, and to her right is a machete. The first instinct is that the 3rd victim was indeed not a victim to the brutal murders at all. When looting her corpse, you will find a letter very important in this case. It reads the following: Annette, I did not want to write you this letter. I thought I had been clear outside the stable, and clear again when you waited for me outside the general. Harriet was still inside. She could have seen you. It's a miracle she did not. Now I know I made promises to you, and I know that the time we had was good, but Harriet is my wife, and if she's willing to give me another chance, I need to give her and myself that opportunity. I cannot know you any longer. Please stop looking for me in town. Please stop leaving me packages at the post office. Please, for the love of God, please do not approach Harriet. I do care about you, but I cannot have you in my life anymore. Leave me and my family alone. Claude. So we have learned what the tragedy is. Claude, our male victim, was originally unhappy in his marriage to Harriet, our female victim, thus beginning an affair with our 3rd corpse, Annette. Annette, clearly not accepting this, refusing to let Claude slip from her grasp, somewhat stalked both her lover and his wife, before taking both their lives and then the life of herself. It is a terrible tale of a love triangle, where all 3 victims lay dead by the end. It would seem an open and closed case to most, but there is something in the small details of this scene that doesn't add up. Let's take a look at this further. Firstly, before we head back inside, let's examine Annette a little more closely. The apparent murder weapon to her right, the machete. With this amount of blood all over the scene, how does this not contain a single drop? I doubt Annette would have taken the time to clean this off if she was just going to end her own life anyway. Then there's the bullet wound. It seems very odd that someone would attempt to kill themselves in this manner, right through the forehead. Plus, if Annette had access to a revolver this whole time, why would she attempt to attack the couple with a machete, being not only outnumbered, but due to her small stature, she was also outstrengthed. It seems a lot of damage caused for someone so petite. Before we head back into the farmhouse, maybe there is more to see outside. Towards the back of the land, there is a small campfire, which as you can see, is still active. The interesting thing about this is there are 2 bowls in front of 2 separate logging seats, indicating of course that more than one person has been here. Heading back to the house, there are even more small details that don't add up. Inspecting the victims a little more, you will notice that neither Claude or Harriet are wearing their wedding rings. Now I understand that they are previously separated, but after giving their marriage a second chance, why would neither choose to don their rings? There's something else of note here. If we more closely inspect the footprints, they appear to be pretty large and mostly flat-based. If we go back to Annette's body outside, you will notice that her feet are much smaller and more of a heeled variety. Claude was only wearing 1 shoe, so they couldn't have possibly been all of his. Here is my theory as to what really happened. We of course know of the love affair between Annette and Claude, that much is obvious, so this was most definitely a crime of passion. But as I stated, Annette was such a small character and Claude was much bigger, so how could she have possibly both murdered him and Harriet? That is, unless she wasn't alone. Referring back to the active campfire to the rear of the land and the indications of more than one inhabitant, Annette was working with another person. I believe the pair waited at the campfire until nightfall, maybe knowing that both Claude and his wife Harriet were enjoying a drink together that evening. They waited patiently until Claude had left the residence, probably to relieve himself in the outhouse. The criminal duo would then make their way towards the house. Annette would sneak in and fire 1 round at arresting Harriet, as shown by the bullet wounds in her forehead, before rejoining her accomplice, who was waiting outside. Claude, upon hearing the gunshot, would rush back to the house to find his wife dead. In that moment, the second accomplice would enter, attacking Claude from behind with the machete. The 2 would struggle around the room, indicated by the scatterings and mess, but with Claude being intoxicated and wounded heavily, the accomplice would overpower the husband, eventually ending his life. After both the husband and wife were murdered, I believe the accomplice returned to the outside to then kill Annette by shooting her through the forehead, then placing the machete and revolver by her side, and with the use of the letter to her from Claude, it seemed the perfect opportunity to make it look like a double murder-suicide. The accomplice would then return to the house and butcher the already deceased pair to make the scene look more like a crime of passion before scurrying off into the night. Could this 4th person be a lover of Annette's, whom she had an affair on too, and manipulated her into this killing, promising all will be forgiven, only to have his own agenda, fueled by jealousy and a rage of their own after learning his partner was being unfaithful? It remains a mystery. So what do you guys really think happened at Robard Farm? Do you believe there was more than meets the eye? Have you a theory of your own you wish to share? Let me know down in the comment section. But before we finish up, as promised, our competition. As with all the others, all you guys need to do is let me know in the comment section when and where you found my channel. Even if this is your first time here, or you've been with me a while. It's that simple. Do that, and you have yourself a chance at winning one of 2 Red Dead Redemption 2 t-shirts. I'll be picking the winner using a spin wheel, same as the others. The closing date for the competition will be Saturday the 22nd of October 2022, where I'll be announcing the winners the following day on both my channel's community page and over on my Instagram @PhilBGaming. If you enjoyed today's video and wish to see more like it, give it a thumbs up, think about subscribing, and turn on notifications to be the first alerted every time a new video was produced. You guys have been listening to Phil of Philby Gaming. Thank you all for watching, and best of luck to everybody who enters the competition. I'll see you all in the next one.